Morning. Just aware as well that the live stream is just joining us as well, and it's going to be difficult to give the folks on live stream context of a wonderful time of worship that we've just had and amazing testimony. And that testimony ties in really well with the sermon this morning that God's laid on my heart, but also the prophecy that God gave us at the leaders' meeting just a few weeks ago. You might take this as good news, you might take this as bad news, but God really wants to turn up the power level in the church, right? So that involves every one of us. Any one of us could find ourselves in the situation that Sammy just found herself in, all right? And I've got a story similar to that, but not as dramatic as that. That I was going to use today, so we'll use both of them, Sammy. Okay. But the pastor asked me a while back if we'd preach, and we worked out the schedule, and I knew I was going to get John 14, so we're going to continue the series on John this morning. But if anybody's ever been in a position whereby you're putting together a sermon, you'll know that you really want to hear from God early on what the sermon is to be about, so that you can be meditating on that, you can be figuring out your illustrations. So you want to know early on, and the pastor did ask me months ago, I would have preached earlier in John, but the lead up to Christmas, I got so much work going on at weekends that it didn't make sense to be preaching at a weekend where I could have been getting calls, I could have been getting called away, could have ended up upstairs with my laptop, which I've had to do in the past. So we just agreed, okay, we'll do it after Christmas and so on. John 14 is yours. So I've had months, and for months I was praying, and for months God was saying nothing. All right? And then I was praying about it more. Now, if you're not really hearing what the sermon's to be about, it's okay, because it means I pray for you. I'm praying for the people who'll be here today. I'm praying for the life in Gateway. But, it'd be nice to know what I was going to preach about. And then, as it was getting a lot closer, let's say this week, and I was praying, God said, what's the first verse of John 14? And it says, "Let not your heart be troubled." That was God saying to me, you don't know what you're going to preach on? Let not your